ब्रह्मस्वरूपं मुदा वन्दे अग्रपुरुषदासचरणं श्रीयोगिराजं तथा वन्दे श्रीप्रमुखं महन्तगुणिनम् मोक्षाय भक्त्या सदा मोक्षाय भक्त्या सदा मोक्षाय भक्त्या सदा.
श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय. अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय. गुणातीतानंद स्वामी महाराजनी जय. भगत जी महाराजनी जय. शास्त्री जी महाराजनी जय. योगी जी महाराजनी जय. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय. गुरु हरि महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय. अक्षरधाम महोत्सवनी जय. अक्षरदेरी शार शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय जय जय. जय सोनाई. On behalf of BAPS Campus Fellowship and USC's Campus Sanchaliks, I'd like to say thank you to every one of you for coming out tonight. As you guys know, this is a huge day for us. It's the first time that Pujya Santos have come to USC and attended a campus Sabha. And for us Kishores, this is the first official campus Sabha that we're having. So to begin this historical campus hangout, I'd like to request everyone to join in singing Dhoon and Pratna. श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय. प्रेम प्रेम थी बोलो स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
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 स्वामी नारायण भगवान. स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
स्वामी नारायण भगवान. स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
प्रेम प्रेम थी बोलो स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
प्रेम प्रेम थी बोलो स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
स्वामी मोक्ष नो आधार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
जीवने मोक्ष नो आधार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
जीवने मोक्ष नो आधार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
जीवने मोक्ष नो आधार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
स्वामी नारायण भगवान. स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
स्वामी नारायण भगवान. स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
प्रेम थी बोलो स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
प्रेम प्रेम थी बोलो स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
अक्षरधाम रहनार 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 स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
स्वामी नारायण भगवान. स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
स्वामी नारायण भगवान. स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
प्रेम प्रेम थी बोलो स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
प्रेम प्रेम थी बोलो स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
महंत स्वामी माँ वसनार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
महंत स्वामी माँ बसनार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
महंत स्वामी माँ वसनार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
महंत स्वामी माँ बसनार स्वामी नारायण भगवान.
स्वामी નારાયણ ભગવાન સ્વામી નારાયણ ભગવાન
સ્વામી નારાયણ ભગવાન સ્વામી નારાયણ ભગવાન
પ્રેમથી બોલો 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ ભગવાન.
શ્રી સ્વામિનારાયણ ભગવાનની જય. શ્રી સ્વામિનારાયણ ભગવાનની જય. વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
સ્વામી ગુણાતીત શ્રી સહજાનંદજી
સ્વામી ગુણાતીત શ્રી સહજાનંદજી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
આપ પ્રભુ છો ધામના ધામી
આપ પ્રભુ છો ધામના ધામી
બળવંતા બહુનામી હરી
પ્રભુ બળવંતા બહુનામી હરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
જીવ અનંતના મોક્ષને અર્થે
જીવ અનંતના મોક્ષને અર્થે
અનાદિ અક્ષર સાથ લઈ
પ્રભુ અનાદિ અક્ષર સાર લઈ
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
પુરુષોત્તમ નારાયણ પોતે
પુરુષોત્તમ નારાયણ પોતે
પ્રગટ્યા માનવ દેહ ધરી
પ્રભુ પ્રગટ્યા માનવ દેહ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
સ્વામી ગુણાતીત અનાદિ અક્ષર
સ્વામી ગુણાતીત અનાદિ અક્ષર
પુરુષોત્તમ સહજાનંદજી
પ્રભુ પુરુષોત્તમ સહજાનંદજી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
યજ્ઞ પુરુષમાં અખંડ રહીને
યજ્ઞ પુરુષમાં અખંડ રહીને
ઉપાસના શુદ્ધ પ્રગટ કરી
પ્રભુ ઉપાસના શુદ્ધ પ્રગટ કરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
ભક્તિએ જય મારું જીવન
ભક્તિએ જય મારું જીવન
સેવાએ જય મારું જીવન
સેવાએ જય મારું જીવન
દેજો રોમે રોમ ભરી
પ્રભુ દેજો રોમે રોમ ભરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ ભાવ ધરી
હે ભક્ત વત્સલ કરુણા સાગર
હે ભક્ત વત્સલ કરુણા સાગર
વિનંતી કરું કર જોડી હરી
પ્રભુ વિનંતી કરું કર જોડી હરી
વંદન કરીએ પ્રભુ भाव धरी
वंदन करिए प्रभु भाव धरी
हेतु रहित भक्ति तव चरणे
हेतु रहित भक्ति तव चरणे
दे जो तन मन धन थी हरि
प्रभु दे जो तन मन धन थी हरि
वंदन करिए प्रभु भाव धरी
वंदन करिए प्रभु भाव धरी
स्वामी गुणातीत श्री सहजानंद जी
स्वामी गुणातीत श्री सहजानंद जी
वंदन करिए प्रभु भाव धरी
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 श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान की जय। So as we're all aware, we're extremely fortunate to have the Puja Santos here with us today on our first official campus Sabha. Despite the hurricane, they traveled all the way from Edison, fresh from having the darshan of Puja Mansai Maharaj, and they've come to USC for our hangout. Most of us are very familiar with both Shukmuni Swami and Puja Anindyogi Swami. Puja Anindyogi Swami was born and brought up in London, England, where he served as a pivotal member of the Kishore Mandal as the Karyakar. In 2012 in Saharanpur, Puja Anindyogi Swami received Diksha at the hands of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. In August of 2016, Anindyogi Swami got placed in Atlanta, where he travels the southeast with Puja Shukmuni Swami, increasing our Bal Kishore Pravritti. And he has been our Mandardhari Bal Kishore Sant for just over a year now. Puja Shukmuni Swami was originally born in Tororo, Uganda, however moved to Leicester, England. He got Diksha in 1981 at the age of 15 during Bhagwan Swaminarayan's Dvishatabdi in Ahmedabad. He spent almost 20 years looking after the Kishore Mandal Pravritti in the UK, and before that he spent 10 years looking after youth activities in Ahmedabad. He is currently traveling throughout the southeast as well, increasing Yuva Saint Pravritti, and has been our Mandardhari Sant for almost 2 years now. So I want to hand it over to Puja Shukmuni Swami, who will give us some motivation and some guidance, and also share some prasangs with us. Puja Shukmuni Swami.
श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय गुणातीतानंद स्वामी महाराजनी जय भगत जी महाराजनी जय शास्त्री महाराजनी जय योगी जी महाराजनी जय प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय अक्षरधाम महोत्सवनी जय अक्षर देरी सार्ध शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय Swami Jai Swaminarayan. It's quite heart-touching in the sense to hear that officially this is the first campus Sabha. But the Kishoris have been doing it for a couple of years, right? Leve purush hoy ele sunge chokra hoy thodu jor maru padse. Try and regulate your campus Sabhas to an extent that we can come more often. And it's good to know that all of you are very interested and you have a lot of zeal, not just to study, but to sustain your satsang whilst you're studying away from home. Historians around the world have been very intrigued by the dialogue between Alexander the Great and an Indian sage. And when I say historians, I also talk of philosophers like Leo Tolstoy. He was impacted and highly influenced by the Indian teachings. And so were great scientists like Albert Einstein, great writers like Emerson. All these people have been touched by the Indian theology. They've been touched by Indian philosophy, and they've been touched by the Indian teachings. and more so when they study the dialogue between Alexander the Great and the Brahman sage, who Alexander's army, on their way to conquer the nation of India, his sole goal was to conquer the whole world. And like a steamroller, he passed through Europe, he passed through parts of Asia, and then he came into India. And at that time, his army stopped. Thousands of soldiers, and they stopped. So Alexander asked that why has the army all of a sudden stopped? And so his commander-in-chief, he goes to the front, and he sees for himself that his own soldiers are trying to convince a sage who's sitting in the middle of the road to move so that the whole army can pass through. So there's thousands and thousands and thousands of soldiers and just one sage, but nobody could do anything. And then the commander-in-chief, he says, "What's wrong?" And then the soldiers say, "But this guy just does not want to move." And he says that, "Who's Alexander? Bring him to me. He's nothing." And so what happens, the long story short, is that that information goes to Alexander the Great. Now, Alexander the Great, he came onto the throne of Macedonia when he was only 18. And within 6 years, he had conquered 3/4 of the world. So he was very, very powerful. He knew exactly what he wanted to achieve. But there came an obstacle of a simple sadhu sitting in the middle of the road who stopped the whole army further proceeding. Alexander gets the news and he's very agitated. He's very angry. And he wants to go and sort this out, so he gets to the front. And he walks to this Rishi Muni. And he tells him with a very stern, strong voice that, "Move aside, or I'll chop your head off. You won't live long. Get out of the way." So he tells him all this. And then the sannyasi, he says to him, "But who are you?" He says, "You don't know me. The whole world knows me as Alexander the Great. And you are intimidating me, humiliating me, and you're not moving, you're not listening. Who should I listen to? To you or to my inner voice?" That really upset him. And there's this dialogue where this sannyasi is not at all ready to listen to Alexander the Great. Alexander, he pulls out his sword and he says, "Look, I will kill you." The sannyasi says, "But who will you kill, my body or my atma?" So this dialogue of deep, deep philosophy happens between the two of them. Where? On the road in India, before Alexander proceeds to take over the nation. Alexander, when he hears that this person has some profound knowledge, he least understands it. But here is somebody who, without any weapons, without any status, he is talking simple language in Sanskrit and telling him that you can't do anything. All you will do is to kill my body, which is perishable anyway, right? You one day are going to perish as well. They will burn me, and the amount of earth I need is maybe a handful, dust to dust. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to you even after you've conquered the whole world. So why are you killing people for no reason? Why are you harassing people? Why are you hurting people? Why are you being so selfish and greedy? Now just imagine, here is an Indian sadhu dispensing the knowledge of our scriptures to a person who feels that he is the greatest person on the earth. Alexander then introspects, because he was totally hurt. He was literally stopped from his goal. And then they say Alexander turned back and returned back to Macedonia. Now, historians are perplexed by this dialogue between Alexander the Great and the sannyasi. And they can only say that India has a wealth of knowledge, and it's not knowledge that is just theoretical, it is knowledge that is practical application. They say that the knowledge that India has to give to the world and has given to the world is one of pure self-perfection. A shabda છે ને બહુ અગત્યના છે. Self-perfection. It's not about perfecting your body. It's not about perfecting the things around you. It's about perfecting your own self. And this is the strength that the sannyasi, he pushed into Alexander. Alexander, he returns back, he falls ill halfway. His doctors around him, they try to help him recover, but then there comes a time that he is now on his last breaths. Alexander the Great, he tells his closest aides and he tells his doctors that when I die, and when you take me through the streets of Rome to bury me, make sure that the coffin top is not placed and that my hands are sticking out of the coffin. Now that's a very odd way of taking somebody to the crematorium. So they asked him, why keep your hands open? Why keep the lid open? Alexander the Great, he says to them that I want the world to know that Alexander came on this earth empty-handed and he's going empty-handed. Now think of these words. Where did this deep meaning of life touch him? Our sannyasis, our Mahatmas, who have studied and mastered and literally digested the scriptures, they believed themselves to be beyond the body. They believed themselves to be beyond any misery and unhappiness. They believed themselves to be divine. That is the teaching that India has given. And that is why Leo Tolstoy, who was highly influenced by the Indian philosophy and teachings, he once said that the whole world thinks about changing the world, whereas nobody in the world wants to change themselves. Right? We like to change the things around us, but we rarely think of changing ourselves. Yeah, you may change your clothes when you're a little kindergarten boy and then you grew up and then you came into these casuals in university. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about inner change. They're talking about values. They're talking about ethics. They're talking about things that will make you more internally happy, feeling very content and feeling very satisfied. Education, it's a good thing. But our scriptures say that the heart of education is what? Knowing God. Yeah. To know God is the heart of education. So I'm not here to stop you from your career paths, but I'm here to share with you that we belong to a very, very rich culture. And we belong to a culture that has very high values. And it's recognized in the world as one of the oldest religions, but the most practical religions in the world. And hence, I chose to tell you about the dialogue between Alexander the Great and the sannyasi. In his life, he came across so many other people. But here was a person who changed his whole thinking. In our case, we need to change our thinking as well. You know, we want to achieve fame, name, status, wealth, luxury, things around us we see on a daily basis. You see somebody being felicitated. You see the iPhone, CEOs earning great amounts of money. Bill Gates being one of the wealthiest people on the earth. And you see these, like Lakshmi Mittal, the Indian tycoon, him having his billion-dollar yacht, and you think one day I'll have one of these as well. Even if you get a plastic one is a good thing. But I'm just saying, but is that life? Is that what you really want to achieve after your education? Or together with living daily life now, you want to strengthen these beliefs? And that is the reason why even Emerson, he was very touched by Indian philosophy. And he once said that the true test of civilization is not the census. Census meaning the population count. Yeah? The true test of civilization is not the census, nor the great buildings that you build, nor the crops that you grow, but the true test is the type of man that you produce. See, even he is pointing towards a different approach of life. Changing one's self. It's a very subtle thing you may think, but it is the thing that will make us what we really want to be, and that is happy. Looking within, thinking of ourselves, changing our inner self. I'm not stopping you externally. You wear the best of clothes is not a problem. Pramukh Swami never had a problem with that. He used to say, if you have one car, get two, get four. No worries. Drive the best. Enjoy, have luxury in life, everything. But moral values. Your ethics should be strong. They should be governed by the laws given by God. Bhagavan Swaminarayan apne aapyu છે. Those are the things that should allow you to progress in life. Staying in that boundary. Being happy does not mean being wealthy. Being happy does not mean well known. Being happy does not mean that you are the brightest pupil on this earth. Do you understand this? Okay? And hence, I mentioned earlier that even scientists were intrigued. Albert Einstein is known as the greatest scientist of the 20th century. The Time magazine, when they had a poll, in the poll he came first, and then came Mahatma Gandhi, and then came Nelson Mandela. So Einstein recognized and appreciated around the world by millions and millions of people. Einstein once said in his book, Beyond, he writes this simple 4-line passage in which Einstein says that the greatest human endeavor is the striving for morality in our life. Now think of these words. The greatest human endeavor. Now if you look up Google and you see human endeavors, the greatest ones, you'll find like people, these divers underwater, holding their breath for 25 minutes. આપણે 25 સેકન્ડ એ નથી થતું. You do your morning asana, Om. Yeah? It's 25 minutes. That's an achievement. Climbing Mount Everest without oxygen. આપણે તો દાદરા અહીંયા ચડ્યા ને હમણાં એમાં હાફી ગયા. 29,000 plus feet without oxygen. That's an achievement. The Channel Tunnel between England and France, the way that they calculated that tunnel, and they were only 0.001 millimeter off. That's nothing. The point when they started excavating on this side and this side, and they went through the core of the earth under the channel, means the English Channel, and then they touched 0.0001 millimeter off. Precision. It's come from the brain. Human endeavors are marveling. Here Einstein says the greatest human endeavor is the striving for morality in our lives. Then he goes on to say that morality is our existence. It brings meaning to life. Then he says our inner balance, shanti, happiness, is created through morality. And lastly, He says it is only morality that gives beauty and dignity to life. Now think of these words. These great people, me and you, are always listening to Bapa, reading the Shiksha Patri, reading the Vachnamrit, listening to Kathas, coming to Kishore Kishori Sabhas, listening to talks, and there's always this insistence upon living an upright, moral life. These are people in the world who are respected, renowned, great thinkers, and even they are pointing to a life that Maharaj and Swami have always pointed for us. And hence it's very important that we choose to walk this path as well, not to leave it unattended. All of you are studying at university, some of you may be staying away from home. And you know your pressures, right? The peer pressures that you may be going through. You know that even not just the friends that are externally not satsangi friends, but even your satsangi friends may put you in a situation where they will pressure you to do things against your own will. There do come times when you do get such notorious people and friends around you. What is key in your life is to really know and understand that if after everything Alexander realized that there is nothing else in life but internal change. If all these great scientists and all these great people, they point to a life which is talking about morality, then we are very, very, very lucky. As satsangis, on a daily basis, you're getting nurtured. If you choose on your own, you can nurture yourself further. But if you rely on this week to week, so Sunday, Sabha, Majo, Sutya, Satsangar, so 5, 7 days, 6 days a week, just chill, enjoy. To group padche. It'll be very difficult for you. You may not understand this now, but when we've traveled with Baba across the nations of the world, and we've seen our satsangis, just satsangis, very strong, dedicated family satsangi boys and girls. When they go to university or when they get to career jobs, they lose track. They lose themselves. They get carried away by the wave that is too strong for them, even stronger than Irma. Even stronger than the Hurricane Irma. Can't get those things, they are nothing really. If you can't control your mind, then it's a problem. You can't control the hurricane anyway, so don't try it. But the things we can control, ourselves, we must be very watchful for that. We must be very careful and must be very vigilant. And hence the insistence of daily satsang. Daily satsang has been an emphasis ever since the time of Shriji Maharaj, by Maharaj himself. And today down the parampara, we find that the emphasis is always there for daily satsang. Your study time is perfectly your study time. ए वक्त तुम माड़ा लेन बैसो ना ये जरूर नहीं. Lecture चालते हुए Mrs. Hansen is talking and you're doing माड़ा. ये जरूर नहीं. Your study time, you give 8 hours or 10 hours, whatever it may be, a dedicated time aap ide. But your mornings and your evenings, time should be spent for satsang. I know they demand a lot of you in studies, right? I know it's a very, very demanding age, okay, where the 3-6 years of your college life, તમે bachelor degree કરો કે masters કરો કે જે કે આગળ જતા કરશો, it's quite taxing and you have to dedicate a lot of time. But if you can manage your time well, then you'll be able to spend very good quality time for satsang. And when I say spend time for satsang, I'm not saying hours and hours. If you can do your morning puja really nicely every morning, properly, 15-20 minutes, focused, concentrated effort in doing your puja, you will reap lots of benefits. If you spend it through the day, any time in the day, reading satsang books, your Vajshravan Swami Vadu, Baba had always told us, you should always read one Vajshravan and 5 Swami Vadus, right? He had told us this. Atlu tame karson sincerely, then you will reap the benefits. And at night, if you get a chance, Aarti Ashtaks in the evening, ek karjo. You may feel, okay, Swami, we can't do all this, let us choose and do a few things. Evo karjo, vando nathi. But if you really look into your timetable and make a daily timetable, you will find spaces of time that will allow you to do these things. I'm not saying read the Vajshravan at one go. You may want to read paragraphs. 2-3 minute hoy. Dr. Swami very regularly used to give the example of Gandhiji, that how did he learn the Gita, 700 shloks of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So every day whilst he used to do datar, he used to have a slip of one shlok before him. And it takes a few minutes to do your datar. So those few minutes were used well. And he learned the whole Gita whilst doing datar. Now it's an activity which doesn't really mean much to me and you, right? Brushing your teeth. And when we're brushing our teeth, we're just looking at the mirror, right? That's all we do. Can you not do something which is more productive, which will give you greater wealth? Chalo tame Shiksha Patadia shlok, I'm not telling you learn all 212, okay? But at least know the basics. 116. Very important, know that by heart. Certain Vajshramans, not the whole Vajshramans, but the core message of the Vajshraman. And try and learn those. Through the year, I'm not saying learn everything in a day. Baba never ever stressed that. All he had stressed was utilize your time wisely and do these things. Swamini Vata, don't learn it by heart. Maybe Vajshravan, don't learn it by heart. Understand it. It's made so simple for you, right? In our time, we had nothing. University, I didn't even finish school, so I was 15. He went through university. But there was nothing in our time. Mobile phone to concept. Can you imagine in the 1980s? There's nothing like that. You've got that thing and you can do so many things. AirPods, iPods, cassettes chalti thi oli gold. And yet, Swami, we know people who have really, really done so well. Whilst doing their studies, they've maintained satsang. Yeah, I know a friend, Amari Sada Balmandar Mata. Unfortunately, he could not become a sadhu, but he studied at Cambridge. And studying at Cambridge is quite demanding. It's a task. While studying there in Cambridge, he did the whole Shiksha Patri by heart for the Adhivation in 1982. It's not something, I'm not telling you to do it, but you can find time. The point to know here is you can find time to do your satsang. So keep at this as well. Keep it as a priority with the rest of the priorities of education that you have. Don't let that be on the side. And at night, doing a mara before you go to sleep, you've been to shivers, you've always loved these Shayan Jeshtas, right? Wherever I go, I hear, so we do that long 29-minute one, right? And then when you turn, I go, no, Swami, any. Pode Prabhu nola beji hoy ne. Chesta che. Chalo che. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to do that chesta. To do that. Bapa nu smruti karo, Mahansani smruti kari, and then go to sleep. You need to also find the things, the tools that are distracting you. Yeah? Your phone is number one. even we realize. I mean, गाडी में बैठा है ना, beep, ओलो था ना, you've just finished with some like email checks, right? And you've put it away on the side and you're thinking, oh, bas mara fil beep, your hand goes straight to the handle. We know it's distracting. To you, it's even more distracting, right? But be careful. The things that you know that distract you, and there are some parents, who are very proud of their children, saying, Swami, maro dikro je 10 wage sui jai. He goes to sleep at 10. I said, really? He goes, yeah, Swami, he goes to sleep. Little does he know that once he's locked the room, chaltu joyolu. And we know, because you see that online thing, right? And the parents ka that khabar na hoye. भगवान ने तो खबर पड़े तमने तो खबर पड़े कि वो लोग चालू छे कि नहीं. But these are habits. People are proud. It's good. You should be proud of your children. Well, they should be proud of you. But our distractions, chair. Have a cutoff point. By 9 o'clock, you need to just wind down from the day and spend half an hour, 45 minutes or an hour of good quality satsang. Then a baddu muki down on the side. Yeah. So I'm not saying you all need to do everything that I've said. Just understand where we started from. Yeah. The great people in the world have failed. And they've realized very late in life. Michelangelo, heard the name? Michelangelo was an ambidextrous person. He was known for philosophy, architecture. He was a painter. He was a philosopher. He was, you name it. He was a medical doctor. He had so many credits on his name. Michelangelo, the greatest things you see even today are his paintings, the frescoes that you can see on the Sistine Chapel in Rome. When you go to the Vatican, you will see 300 feet above the ground, in the dome, he's done these fabulous paintings. These were done centuries ago. And how did this person do it? Again, is a miracle. That he used to sleep on a platform, and then he used to paint. This is 300 feet above the ground, when you cannot tell how big or how small you're painting, even the eyes. Yeah. But he had this amazing talent, and everything is so apt. Even the statue he's done of Mother Mary with Jesus Christ who's just come off the cross, and he's lying across her lap, and his head is tilting to the ground, and his head is resting on the hand, and then she's got this cloak on, and there's this cloak that's going down to the ground. She's sitting on a sort of a bench, and it's a small atlu chair. But if you look very closely, you can literally see through the cloak, and you can see the face. It's pure marble. He's carved that marble so thin, not with cracks, and not use any glue to stick it on. He has carved it so well, you can see the grains. Jesus Christ, that dry blood where he was hit with the nails, a dry blood no the impression, you can see everything including these lines. A બધું જ દેખાય છે. એટલું static marble એને sculpting કર્યું છે. Amazing. Dr. Swami was there. Dr. Swami said, આપણે તો એક ગુલાટ નહીં, આપણે તો 3 ગુલાટ ખાઈ ગયા. Dr. Swami is very highly expressive, but he was so happy seeing that. Now, Michelangelo had multi-talents. At the age of 86, Michelangelo says that here I am, lying to die, and I regret that I have not done enough for the salvation of my soul. I'm just beginning to learn the alphabet of my profession. What's he saying? I regret that I have not done enough for the salvation of my soul. Think about these words. If at the end of such a powerful life you feel regret, dissatisfied, unhappy, then what's the use of so much of skill and talent and praise? The Pope at that time used to go to him every day Normally a person goes to the Pope, but to Michelangelo, the Pope used to come to him. And never in the history of the Roman Catholic world has the Pope ever put his hat or his crown on a citizen. Michelangelo was the only one in this history of the Roman Catholic world that the Pope placed his crown on his head. Why? He was accepted and worshipped on par with Jesus. And he says, I regret that I've not done enough for the salvation of my soul. And here I am lying to die and just beginning to learn the alphabet of my profession. So what profession? Did he not have a profession? He did. But there's something else. Hence, Maharaj and Swami have been very kind and gracious to us. Baba has been very kind and gracious, and Mahan Swami is today the same. They are taking us on a path, not to make us miserable, not to make us unhappy, but to make sure we don't regret at the end of our life. To make sure that we are absolutely happy. To make sure that we achieve the salvation that humans are supposed to achieve. And that is the reason why they tell us, do these things and don't do these things. Yeah? The do's and don'ts of our satsang are very common to you. You know them well, so I'm not going to elaborate on them. But you must understand that Gunadhyan Swami very, very simply put it, that even after Koti Janma means infinite births, right? Even after an infinite births, you don't get purified, means free from your instincts. That you can do in this very birth alone. And he says, how? कि आवा संत ने हाथ जोड़े અને કહે એમ કરે એટલામાં કસર ટળી જાય. આવા સંત એટલે કેવા? We know Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and now we have Mahan Swami Maharaj. Yeah? We are all highly attached to Baba, and હવે પણ આપણે મહાન સ્વામી સાથે જોડાઈએ છીએ. આવા સંત, a sadhu like them, a guru, yeah, એને હાથ જોડવા. Yeah, so not just fold hands and just move around him and say, look at him like this. એ કહે એમ કરે. To do as they say. તો કોટી જન્મની કસર આ જન્મે ટળી જાય. Yeah, which you cannot accomplish after infinite births, you can do so in this birth alone. And that is the importance of a guru. Okay, તમે જો એટલું વ્યવસ્થિત આપણું કલ્ચરની અંદર છે ને, હિન્દુ ધર્મમાં છે, અને ગુરુની આજ્ઞા પ્રમાણે વર્તીએ. Yeah, so these campus sabhas, you may think it was initiated by somebody somewhere in America. It wasn't. It was Baba who instructed the santos in England and in America that you should conduct sabhas at the university campuses. And hence it started to roll, and it's become bigger. Okay, there's over 150 campus sabhas in the whole nation. England ma pan chale છે. We used to go regularly to the England campus sabhas. Every 2 weeks without fail we used to go. પણ શું, what I'm trying to say is that these are very important for you too. એ બાપાની આજ્ઞા છે, કરવું. Swami Shri has told us, puja karvi, vanchan karu. You know these things. Do as much as you can. Do it sincerely. Yeah. Again, I'm not putting any time to you. I'm not saying 1 hour and it's just read that Vajrayana. You take it upon yourself that, look, my patience to read the Vajrayana is maybe 10 minutes. That's how much I will spend time on. But that 10 minutes should be very dedicated. But you know, every 2 seconds I'm doing a phone, mama. એવું નહીં, કોનો મેસેજ આવ્યો, આજે સ્કૂલ છે કે નહીં. 10 minutes of quality time. You will reap so much if you're focused. Hours and hours and hours of reading doesn't lead you anywhere. Yeah. But very focused, concentrated effort. Thodu tame karo. You know, you have these dyes, cloth dyes. Yeah, you don't need to put loads. You just put a few drops. It's so concentrated, it can color this whole gatari. Em tame concentrated effort karso ne, it'll reap great benefits for you. Hence I said your 15-20 minutes of puja. Your Vachramrut reading, Swamnivata reading, Jivam Nirkya, yeah, eternal virtues, કે જે કંઈ તમે વાંચતા હોય એ થોડુંક ધ્યાન રાખીને કરજો. ચેષ્ટા નાની કરજો, કંઈ વાંધો નથી. આરતી ને થાળ, yeah, it doesn't take more than 10-15 minutes. But if you're running late, yeah, તો દોડતા દોડતા કરી લેવું. Yeah, sometimes when we're traveling, we do the aarti in the car. We do the full aarti in the car. Sometimes we do the aarti kokni gare karoni, so we do the aarti and then we do the ashtaks in the car. But we do it. Yeah. So there are ways in which you can accomplish the things that you want to do. But do those things. And then you will realize, one, okay, Maharaj Swami Baba have been very, very kind and generous, enabling us to lead a life that's going to be very meaningful and ultimately full of happiness. Yeah. Secondly, you will learn that Hindu Dharma has so much of wisdom to offer, not just to individuals, but to the whole world. And it's had a great impact on the lives of these great people in the world. And thirdly, you, through your own actions, will have an influence on the people around you. We want to establish such a nice life that the people beneath us who look up to us in any capacity, either as a sanchalak, they may see you as a campus lead, even your younger brother may see you as an older brother, as a lead role. But if you have a nice life, then the people with you and beneath you, they will be